Warning: the following video is coverage of governmental politics in the gaming sphere. While Lavistro tries to avoid politics, it cannot be helped that overreach from governments have, at times, stepped into gaming. Lavistro, Dragoncast, and Lavistro Plays do not give a flying fuck about your politics. Keep them at the door. If the facts presented offend you, then perhaps you also agree games are not political and should not be used in political wars between two factions or tribes.
Let's get to the main news. That Park Place reports Politico took $8 million in USAID taxpayer money while attacking Gamergate and pushing anti-gamer narratives. Trump admin just cut them off. It turns out that Politico, the left-leaning news outlet that has long smeared the Gamergate and the gaming community, was receiving millions in taxpayer dollars. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced Wednesday that the outlet will no longer receive federal funding after revelations it took more than $8 million for USAID and other government contracts. This funding bombshell was highlighted by X user NR Selden, who pointed out that the Politico published multiple articles related to Gamergate, consistently framing it as disinformation and harassment campaign while pushing narratives about diversity in gaming. A search for Gamergate and Politico returns 22 different articles. The revelation raises serious questions about whether taxpayer money was used to promote a political agenda within gaming journalism. Yeah, we've been saying that for a while. We've been saying that for a long time, and I'm going to give you evidence to that. I'm going to give you a lot of evidence. People have always wondered if our tax dollars were used to promote wokeness in video games, and the answer is yes. USA paid Politico millions per year to write pieces like this one, which promotes diversity and describes Gamergate as disinformation and harassment campaign. During Wednesday's White House brief, Leavitt confirmed that Politico's taxpayer funding is being terminated immediately. I was made aware of funding from USAID to media outlets, including Politico, who I know has a seat in this room. Leavitt said the $8 million you received ends today. The Dodge team is canceling those payments. Dodge team, short for Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk. I love this. I really do. I'm not political, but I love these meme references. That's like epic. Dragon Master, hello. And has been tasked with eliminating wasteful spending in federal contracts. President Donald Trump commented this controversy on his Truth Social platform. It looks like billions of dollars have been stolen at USAID and other agencies, with much of it going to the fake news media as payoff for creating favorable stories about the Democrats. Trump said the left-wing outlet Politico appears to have received $8 million. Did the New York Times receive money? Who else did? This could be the biggest scandal of all, perhaps the biggest in history. The Democrats can't hide from this one. It's too big, too dirty. For years, Politico has aligned itself with activism gaming journalists who push woke narratives under the guise of combating toxicity. Their extensive coverage of Gamergate frames gamers as reactionary extremists rather than addressing the legitimate concerns about media corruption that sparked the controversy in the first place. Many of these narratives were driven by the same journalists who sought to rebrand gaming as a progressive battleground rather than an entertainment industry. Politico's financial ties to the government now raise concerns where these narratives were shaped, at least in part, by taxpayer-funded incentives. My theory is the media is going to try to cover their ass and say, yeah, but that's what we were told. That's what we were told to do with this money. And so that's what we did. Because, we needed the money, we needed this and that to pay for our fundings, and we were only allowed to do it if we followed these stipends. So, they're going to cover their ass. Mainstream media's government subsidiaries run deep. Let me put it this way. It's not on the paper, what I just said. It's my opinion. So, Politico isn't alone in taxpayer money, according to USAspending.gov. Other media sites receiving government include the Associated Press, Reuters, New York Times. These revelations come at a time when Musk and the Trump administration are aggressively slashing wasteful federal spending. Leavitt made it clear that taxpayers should not be funding media outlets that serve political interests rather than a public good. Before I continue on, I'm going to point out, when I was in college, and this was like before Trump was in office, I had to do, this was when Gamergate was in full swing. So back in 2014 and all that stuff, right? I pointed out that trust in the media back then in 2014 was on a decline for the past 10 years. People were having a strong lack of mistrust. So that's why they were desperate for this UAID, for this money. For one thing, is that they weren't getting money, and then capital venture or whatever it's called became a thing, right? But they were still receiving this money. So, Classic Cage, hello. Before we continue, let me go ahead and give everybody else here a shout out. I think a brutal show flows to show such as Dodge to reveal their dark secrets. Yes. I like deeper this, and Politico gets an increasing amount of money from USAID. Yep. Zard, hello. And just a reminder for people coming to chat, we are not a political channel. We're stating news as is. We do not take a side on Dragon Cast. And I'll explain why further in this video. All right. Then, where is she? I just saw her. Well, first, by the way, if you haven't, please give Furious Stan a follow. He needs followers. He's another gamer streamer, and a good friend of mine. I like watching his streams. He just got done with RoboCop recently. I forget the game he's doing now. It's been a chaotic week for me, but go give him a follow. And if you don't, Cult Classic Cage is, if you like big booty Latinas with milk, cake, and Kool-Aid, go follow Cult Classic Cage. He always offers free milk and Kool-Aid and free milk, cake, and Kool-Aid in every stream she does. All right. Okay, so let's continue on. The Trump administration is going line by line, whether it comes to the federal government book. She said anything that does not serve the interest of the American people will be cut. Political's week has already been turbulent just days before the funding scandal broke out. Semaphore reported the company had missed its latest payroll run, though it later claimed the issue was resolved. Now the loss of $8 million federal funding, the other faces an uncertain future. As for the gaming world, this revelation confirms what many suspected all along. Mainstream outlets pushing woke narratives were often backed by the very institutions gamers sought to challenge. The day of taxpayer-funded media, propaganda, and gaming may finally come to an end. I do not think so. Thank you, broski. And oh yeah, she's also playing KCD too. So, there's another thing. The cult flavor Kool-Aid frosting, the cult flavor. But I'm going to put this out here. Now, I don't always agree with Grums or Grooms, whichever you want to prefer it. I like saying Grooms because of someone that was talking about him. He pronounced his name as Grooms on a Hypnocast episode. So it just kind of stuck with me. But he's showing some screenshots of Politico and Gamergate. Like, you'll see all these yellows here. That's Gamergate. You see 2024, 2023, 2022, 2022, 2021, 2017, 2021. Right? So we've been knowing this, and I'm not going to read this whole Guardian thing because they like to give a lot of stuff. Like I said, I like to read a lot of sources. Because I'm apolitical, so I don't want to fall in a tribal mindset. But I want to come down here where it says if the Trump administration is successful here, they're going to try this everywhere else, said Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey, a former USAID employee who came out in protest alongside fired and furloughed workers outside the agency headquarters on Monday. This is just the beginning. So people who want to say a conspiracy theory, let me point out that it says here, Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey, a former USAID employee. So one of the state representatives of New Jersey was a former USAID employee. All right. Here he is right here. I'm not going to say, don't go harassing him. I'm just saying, like, he's actually in here, and he's got appropriations. He's basically a Democrat. So there's just that. I wanted to point that out there, that there is former USAID's employees in our state representation and our civics representation. They're everywhere. And they're what was kind of funny is that, like, if they remove USAID, You're going to go everywhere else and remove the bloat, which is what he said he was going to do.
Worlds clash in endless collision. Gaming news with a fierce precision. With a spark so wild it breaks the norm. In the tempest eye of cyberstorm. Reclaim gaming and dragon cast. Fire breathing wide, screaming loud. Lavistro's here to shake the crowd.